Potential consequences if Biden issues preemptive pardons. President Biden could set a problematic precedent by issuing preemptive pardons to individuals who might become targets under former President Donald Trump, with limited protective effectiveness. After the controversial decision to pardon his son, Hunter Biden, earlier this month, President Joe Biden is reportedly discussing with aides the possibility of issuing preemptive pardons to members of his administration who could face targeting if Donald Trump assumes office. According to Politico, Biden might grant pardons to former presidential medical advisor Anthony Fauci, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Mark Milley, Senator-elect Adam Schiff, and former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney, while some U.S. presidents, such as George Bush and Gerald Ford, have issued pardons to individuals facing federal charges. Experts warn that preemptive pardons for individuals not facing specific charges could represent an unprecedented issue. This raises concerns that the president is abusing his power. A presidential pardon is a constitutional privilege outlined in Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1, which states, "The President shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment." The pardon power allows the President to demonstrate mercy and reduce societal tensions, such as during a war or civil unrest. Jeffrey Crouch, a political science professor at American University in Washington, told CBC News, "What we're discussing now could lead to the weaponization of the pardon power. This was not the intention of the Constitution's framers." Crouch added, "Presidential pardons apply only to federal charges and can be issued before any charges arise. U.S. presidents often issue multiple pardons or commutations in the final days of their terms." Aaron J. Rappaport, a law professor at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, noted it's difficult to predict the specific charges individuals pardoned by Biden might face under a Trump administration because this is an unprecedented situation that defies conventional judicial reasoning. During his first term, Trump pardoned allies like strategist Steve Bannon and several friends and acquaintances. He also pledged to pardon individuals involved in the January 6, 2021, Capitol riots, following the Watergate scandal, which forced Richard Nixon's resignation in 1974. Constitutional scholars believed there was sufficient evidence to prosecute Nixon. However, before any charges were filed, his successor, Gerald Ford, issued a preemptive pardon, arguing it was time to move past the controversy. Biden's preemptive pardons would differ in that they apply to individuals not accused of any specific crimes, merely those who could potentially be targeted by a future administration. Crouch acknowledged Biden's right to issue preemptive pardons, explaining that the language of the Constitution is broad, granting the president significant flexibility. The framers debated limiting pardons to convicted individuals but ultimately decided against it. He said, "It remains unclear how Biden would phrase such pardons. If I were drafting it, I'd write something like, 'To my knowledge, you are a model citizen who abides by the law. Considering the current context, I grant you a preemptive pardon,'" said John Michaels, a constitutional scholar at UCLA. However, these pardons would have limited effect, as those Biden seeks to protect could still be targeted at the state level by Trump allies. Biden aides worry the president might set a dangerous precedent, prompting Trump or future presidents to take similar actions. Additionally, preemptive pardons risk being misinterpreted as implying the recipient has engaged in questionable behavior warranting protection from prosecution. Some former officials have reportedly contacted Biden seeking protection before Trump takes office. The president-elect nominated Kash Patel, a loyalist and former security official, as FBI director on November 30. Patel previously listed dozens of officials as enemies of the state. Others argue preemptive pardons are unnecessary. "I would urge the president not to do this," Senator-elect Schiff told Politico. Sarah Isgur, a former Justice Department spokesperson during Trump's first term, shares this view. Isgur, a vocal Trump critic, is thought to be a potential target under his administration. This would create a dangerous precedent. Isgur wrote on X, formerly Twitter, "We don't want law enforcement officials facing politically motivated prosecutions. But we also don't want them thinking they can break the law without consequences." Meanwhile, Richard Painter, ethics lawyer in the George W. Bush administration, supports Biden issuing preemptive pardons, arguing they could remove past grievances with Trump and encourage the president-elect to focus on leading the nation. This is not an ideal situation. Painter told App, "We are facing a series of unpleasant choices.